Hello and welcome. Before we begin, make yourself comfortable. Let your shoulders relax. Take a slow, gentle breath in and a long, easy breath out. Let the day's small weights slide away. Tonight we will go someplace quiet and warm, a Roman villa at evening where low lamps glow, the air is full of herbs and last light, and people move with slow, careful rhythm. This is not a story of grand battles or loud proclamations. It is a gentle walk through everyday life in a villa near the sea, soft routines, small comforts, and quiet customs that filled the hours as the sun set. Read or listen with a measured pace. Let the images settle like soft sand. If you like, close your eyes and imagine the warm stone beneath your feet and the smell of rosemary and olive oil in the air. We will move slowly, room by room, through the villa's courtyards, kitchens, bedrooms, and gardens. Each scene is a small fragment of a life once ordinary and now softly remembered. There are no sudden moments here, only the hush of evening, the whisper of fabric, the faint clink of pottery. Let the villa's calm settle around you like a blanket. Hello, and welcome. Before we begin, make yourself comfortable. Let your shoulders relax. Take a slow, gentle breath in and a long, easy breath out. Let the day's small weights slide away. Tonight we will go someplace quiet and warm, a Roman villa at evening where low lamps glow, the air is full of herbs and last light, and people move with slow, careful rhythm. This is not a story of grand battles or loud proclamations. It is a gentle walk through everyday life in a villa near the sea, soft routines, small comforts, and quiet customs that filled the hours as the sun set. Read or listen with a measured pace. Let the images settle like soft sand. If you like, close your eyes and imagine the warm stone beneath your feet and the smell of rosemary and olive oil in the air. We will move slowly, room by room, through the villa's courtyards, kitchens, bedrooms, and gardens. Each scene is a small fragment of a life once ordinary and now softly remembered. There are no sudden moments here, only the hush of evening, the whisper of fabric, the faint clink of pottery. Let the villa's calm settle around you like a blanket. The gate of the villa is low and checkered with sun and shadow. As the day ends, the last gold of sunlight slides along the courtyard's flagstones. The gatekeeper, a quiet man with hands used to rope and wood, lingers briefly to take in the air. He shuts the wooden gate carefully, sliding the iron latch so it clicks just once, a small, certain sound. From outside, the world has the far-off murmur of trade boats returning and gulls drifting home. Inside the walls, the air is changed. It smells of warm stone and crushed herbs. The villa's walls keep the warmth from the day, releasing it slowly like a patient animal breathing out. People move without hurry. A maid arranges cushions near the central impluvium, brushing away a stray olive pit with the tip of her sandal. A child runs across the mosaic, bare feet padding lightly, then stops to peer at the pattern, tiny tesserae catching the last light like a field of miniature suns. The owner, often a man of measured temper, stands just a moment to watch the sea from the raised loggia. His cloak is loose now, his duties less pressing, his face lit by the soft palette of dusk. Evening draws a quiet veil over the villa. Lamps with olive oil are filled and trimmed. The simplest lamp, clay, rounded, with a shallow reservoir, sits on a low table, its tiny flames steady and warm. The villa is ready for night. Doors pulled shut against cool breezes, shutters latched gently, and curtains tied back to let the cooling air through. The courtyard is the heart of the villa. In summer it is a sun trap by day and a cool basin by night. At the center rests the impluvium, a shallow pool cut into polished stone to catch the rare rains and to cool the air. At evening, its surface is a quiet mirror, breaking the sky into soft fragments. Around the impluvium, the family moves in hushed choreography. A woman smooths the folds of her stola while she listens to a servant describe the condition of the pantry. Two elders sit on a stone bench beneath a vine lattice, their conversation slow and punctuated with small laughter. The children play with a carved bone top, spinning it and waiting for it to wobble and fall. Torches flicker at the courtyard's edges, but the primary light comes from low lamps. The reflections of these lamps jitter on the impluvium, and the sound of a water drip from the spout, one that makes the pool ripple, fills the quiet between words. Someone carries a tray of figs and fresh goat's cheese. Their hands are steady and deliberate as they set the bowls down for tasting. Evening in the courtyard is a time for small attentions. Clothes are aired on pegs by the doorway. A pot of herbs simmers lightly on a brazier, and its steam carries scents of thyme, fennel, and bay. The household's rhythm keeps simple hours. Eat, tidy, speak softly, prepare for the night. The courtyard listens and answers with a kind of contented quiet. The kitchen is a room of steady warmth. Its hearth is the small heart of the home at every hour. At evening, the cooks stoke the embers and set a clay oven to warming for the bread. In the corner, jars of dried pulses, sacks of barley and wheat, and strings of cured garlic hang. Women and men who work the kitchen move with practiced calm, kneading, folding, tasting, adjusting the heat. Recipes here are not hurried. A lentil stew is simmered with bay leaves and a strip of cured shoulder, brought gently to a low, agreeable bubbling until the flavors simply settle together. Bread is shaped with careful palms, rolled to the right thickness, and brushed with olive oil before it goes into the oven to bake, crackling quietly. The aroma of baking bread mingles with rosemary, and a bowl of olives sits waiting, salted and glossy. A small child might be given a crust to carry proudly while being taught how to scrape the pot clean with a wooden spoon. Conversations in the kitchen are low and practical. A comment about the next day's market, a note that the fisherman returned with a small haul, or that the amphora of garum, precious for seasoning, has a light, honeyed note and should be used sparingly. The kitchen is also where the youngest learn to notice texture and taste, how a piece of fish should feel when it flakes easily, how a chickpea yields when pressed. These lessons are gentle, patient, taught as part of living well. At dusk, the kitchen's warm light spills through a small window, gilding faces and tools, and the house moves more slowly around that glow. The triclinium, the dining room, shifts into evening mode. Cushions are set along the three benches, and a low table is brought out with platters arranged like small islands. Here the family reclines in the traditional manner, propped on one elbow, although in quieter homes the seating is more informal and comfortable. Food is arranged with a neat sense of balance. Platters carry roasted vegetables, small grilled fish, thin slices of cured meat, lentils, and fresh cheese. A bowl of honeyed dates sits within reach for those with a taste for a sweeter end. Wine is offered in small ceramic cups and shared slowly, sometimes mixed with honey or diluted with water to be lighter for the evening. The conversation is gentle. A grandmother may recite a line of verse she learned when young. A merchant might describe, in a measured voice, what spices he hopes to bring from across the sea. Children listen, half aware, their minds taking in the rhythm of words like a soft lullaby. In this room, topics are domestic and nearby. The quality of the olive crop, a neighbor's newly born calf, the medicine a healer suggested for a cough. After the meal, plates are cleared with quiet hands. A servant washes the bowls at the side with a basin of water warmed with a sprig of mint. Lamps are refreshed. The triclinium then becomes a place for stories and private songs, small things that make the night feel full and held. The bedrooms are quiet and small, set away from the more public corners of the villa. Beds are simple platforms topped with stuffed mattresses, straw or wool, and sometimes feathers if the household is comfortable. Linen sheets are pulled smooth, and a light blanket is folded for those who like the weight as they sleep. Evening rituals are soft and reassuring. Wash basins are prepared with warm water and a sprig of lavender. A small lamp is set by the bed, its flame sheltered by a ceramic bowl. Personal items are arranged with care. A comb of bone, a small mirror, a ring put aside for morning wear. A father might smooth the hair of a child and murmur a short blessing. A mother might tuck a small pouch of herbs under the pillow for restful dreams. Windows are shuttered not to keep out the world entirely but to hold back the chill and the dust. Sometimes these shutters are opened slightly to let cool night air flow through, carrying the sound of distant waves and rustling leaves. The quiet is not empty, it is full of simple attentiveness, a sense that the household watches over one another. In the hush of the bedroom, the day's business finally loosens its grip. The mind drifts toward softer things, small hopes for tomorrow, a remembered kindness, the contented weight of a full meal. Sleep arrives like a tide, slow and steady, covering the house in its gentle movement. Step just outside and you'll find the villa's small garden an intimate world of its own. Paths of packed earth wind between low beds of herbs. Rosemary and thyme perfume the air. There are young olive trees with slender trunks and the slow, deliberate leaves that whisper against one another when the wind passes. At evening, someone tends the herbs with patient fingers, pinching off a sprig of sage, checking for pests on a leaf, feeling the soil for moisture. A few terracotta planters hold tiny lemon trees. Their scent lifts like a gentle song when a breeze passes through, bringing with it the faint note of salt from the distant sea. Benches are set in shaded corners where someone might sit and read a scroll in the earlier hours, or simply watch clouds drift above. A small fountain tinkles, a modest sound that gives the garden its breathing rhythm. At dusk, a cat curls among the basil, purring, while a young woman ties up grapevines for the next harvest. The garden is a place of patient care, of small seasonal tasks that go on quietly and without fuss. The work is steady, never urgent. In the close of day, the garden seems to pause with the household, both taking in the calm. Light in the villa is managed with care. The family uses lamps with wicks set in olive oil. These are small, steady flames, easy on the eyes and slow to smoke. Lamps are made of clay or sometimes bronze, often shallow with a little lip to keep the oil from spilling. A bowl might be placed beneath to catch any stray drips. A woman tends to the wicks, trimming them with a small blade to ensure the flame burns evenly. Lamps are placed on low tables, on windowsills, and in niches cut into the walls. Some lamps are shaped with small figures or decorative handles. Others are purely practical. Together they make a quiet constellation of light in the home. Shades of woven reed or a thin sheet of pottery may be placed to soften the brightness and to cast intriguing shadows on the walls. The world by lamplight is a world of softened edges. Textures, the grain of wood, the pucker of linen, the tiny bumps of plaster, become easily noticed and comforting. The art of making and tending light is like a gentle ritual. It marks transitions, work to rest, talk to sleep, and offers a small theater where the night is kept close, familiar, and kind. Even at rest, the villa keeps a quiet vigilance. A young servant makes one last round to make sure shutters are secure and that no embers banked in the hearth might glow drowsily overnight. A lamp is positioned near the outer door so any late guest can be seen without startling the household. There are unhurried duties that belong to the night. The ledger is checked once more, names and debts are noted in practiced hands, ink cooling in a small dish. Water jars are moved under the eaves to catch dew. A bowl of grain is left on the porch for the pecking birds that come at dawn. These small actions stitch the present to the coming day, a tender continuity that keeps small emergencies from waking the house. In certain rooms, a solitary figure may write a short note to a relative far away, folding the papyrus with careful fingers. A child, in a fitful sleep, murmurs a name and is soothed with a touch. The villa watches itself through these small acts. It is not anxious, but attentive, like a parent listening for the regular sounds of breathing. When the kitchens are quiet and the embers glow low, the family draws together for stories. These are not grand epics. Rather, they are the small memories that keep the household sewn together. A grandmother speaks of the neighbor who once mended a broken roof with kindness, or of the smell of a market long ago when spices were traded in sacks that whispered as they were moved. Children listen with wide, sleepy eyes. An older brother might recount a small adventure on the shore, how he watched fishermen splice a net beneath early stars. The tales are often practical: how to fix a cracked tile, where to find the ripest figs, or when to shift the jars for storing olives. The telling is slow and patient, with pauses that let the images settle. A lullaby might follow, the syllables worn smooth by many nights. Sometimes a simple rhyme about rain and wheat will be enough to close a child's eyes. These stories and songs are the villa's soft archive, kept alive not by ink but by memory and careful repetition. Beyond the villa walls, the sea continues its slow work. Though unseen from every room, the sound of water moving over stone, the occasional echo of a boat's creak, and the cough of distant gulls are part of the night's soundscape. These distant, regular noises are comforting. They remind the inhabitants of a steady world beyond the small house. As the villa settles, lights burn low and shadows gather soft. Curtains are tied, doors are locked with quiet, practiced hands, and the household breathes as one. Even as each person retreats to their small rooms and simple beds, the villa feels not empty but held, an arrangement of small lives that fit together like a quiet mosaic. The night is full of small comforts, the cool weight of a blanket, the hum of a neighbor's restrained laughter carried thin through a shutter, the muted chime of a water jar settling. Sleep comes in a series of gentle waves. The villa lets each one pass over its rooftops, over its courtyards, until dawn will bring a new set of soft tasks. Although this story dwells in evening, it is only part of a circle. The villa's evenings are the quiet reflection of bustling mornings. Seeds planted and pots tended in the day return to their well-earned rest at night. The household's slow activities fold together, carrying memory forward and making space for the next day's work. There is a sense of reassurance in this cycle. The same pots that held dinner are set by the door for morning. The olive oil that warmed a lamp will feed the baker at dawn. These small continuities are the quiet architecture of contentment. No one promises grand change. Instead, there is a gentle expectation of rhythm. Sow, tend, gather, rest. As you listen to the world of the villa winding down, let yourself rest in a similar way. Let the day's small frets be put aside for the night. Imagine waking slowly in the early light, the smell of baking bread, the net mended and hanging to dry. For now, though, evening holds. It lets the eyes grow heavy and the breath deepen. Now, dear listener, we come to the gentle end of this evening at the villa. Imagine the last lamp trimmed low, the final bowl set back in its place. Hear the courtyard's impluvium whisper as a faint breeze makes tiny ripples on its pool. Know that each small action, the setting of a tray, the folding of a blanket, the tying of a shutter, matters in its quiet way. Let your breathing mirror the villa's calm. Inhale slowly, feeling warmth like lamp glow move in, and exhale, letting tension leave like a flicker of smoke. If your eyes are closed, picture once more the mosaic's tiny suns, the vine lattice shadow, the cat in the basil, and the sea's distant hush. There is no hurry to leave this place. Rest here as long as you need. When you wake, you will carry a small, settled quiet with you, like a pebble in your pocket. For now, let sleep come soft and sure. Good night. May your dreams be as peaceful and steady as the slow, well-tended rhythms of the Roman villa evening.